Enjoy 1% merchant commission when you accept Lanka Pay cards. Contact these banks today.
අපි ඇයි මේ IMF සමග සාකච්ඡා කරන්න තීරණය කරන කලේ කියන එක පිළිබඳව යම්කිසි පසුබිමක් ඔබට සකසා දෙන්නට ජාත්‍යන්තර මූල්‍ය අරමුදල තමයි ලෝකයේ ස්ටැබිලයිසේෂන් ඒ කියන්නේ මූල්‍ය ප්‍රතිපාදනවල ස්ථාවරත්වය නිර්ණය කරන ආයතනය.
Finance Minister Ali Sabry yesterday said the World Bank has agreed to provide bridging finance of $300 to $600 million in the next 4 weeks to 6 months for Sri Lanka to ease off the economic crisis. The medium-term bridging finance would be utilized for medicines, essential food, fertilizer and to provide financial relief to the most vulnerable people impacted by the worst economic crisis the country had ever encountered since independence. I am confident that Sri Lanka can overcome this economic crisis. Of course, it is going to be worse before it gets better, the finance minister told Lankan media yesterday via Zoom from Washington, D.C., on the sidelines of participating in the ongoing IMF World Bank spring meetings and discussions for support from international lending agencies and donor countries. If we all work hard, be realistic and learn lessons from the past and other countries who went through such similar programs in 90s, Sri Lanka too can overcome this challenge. Although it is going to be painful couple of years, I think the IMF opportunity is a moment for us to seize irrespective of all differences, Sabry added. He also said that they were in the process of appointing financial and legal advisors within the next 15 to 20 days to unlock emergency funds needed to ease the worsening economic crisis and to restructure external debt amounting to the tune of $51 billion. Noting that the discussions with the International Monetary Fund had been centered around debt restructuring program along with a short, medium and long-term strategy to overcome economic crisis, whilst explaining that Sri Lanka was not resorting rapid financing instrument, RFI, but rather the extended fund facility. Any release of funds from the IMF is preconditioned to the fact that debt needs to be sustainable. To be able to see light at the end of the tunnel, we need to discuss with our creditors. Right now, we are working overtime to negotiate with our creditors, but it all depends on how soon we can come into agreement with our creditors to get into a debt restructuring program, he explained. He also said ADB has agreed to extend $21 million for import of medicines. Separately, additional funding from India and China is also being finalized. The finance minister said Sri Lanka currently receives just 8.76% revenue to the GDP, asserting it needs to be increased to at least 14% or the economic fall will be inevitable. Sabry said during talks so far with multiple organizations and countries on the sidelines of the spring meeting in Washington, D.C. that the support to help Sri Lanka has been overwhelming. Sabry listed out the stabilization of the rupee as the single biggest challenge for Sri Lanka, whilst also attracting and accelerating the dollar investments into the economy. Highlighting that there is a major demand for renewable power generating projects, he had already informed Power and Energy Minister Kanchana Wijesekara to appoint a task force to seize those investment opportunities. Some of these investments are coming in as grants. In addition, if we expedite the 17 such eco-friendly projects of the World Bank worth of $2.4 billion, it will come handy to draw the much-needed foreign currency, he added. The minister also called on all citizens to send in their foreign exchange earnings via the formal banking system to stabilize the rupee against the dollar. Admitting that the short-sighted policies implemented by successive governments are reasonable for the current economic woes, he expressed hope it is still possible to overcome it. If we can come out of this crisis via structural reforms, which the country's rulers had neglected for the past 74 years, it will be the true success of all Sri Lankans. I am confident we can triumph over this challenge, but we need the support of all political and public support during the next couple of years to ensure a sustainable future, Sabry said.
මේ අවස්ථාව වන විටත් පහුගිය වසර කිහිපය තුල ගත්තම අපි විවිධායත් එක්ක සාකච්ඡා කරාම රටවල් ඊටාම විශාල ප්‍රමාණයක් මේ අර්බුදය පහු කරලා තියෙනවා. මේකෙන් අදහස් කරන්නේ නැහැ සම්පූර්ණ රට විනාශ වෙනවා යනවා කියලා. නමුත් ලංකා ඉතිහාසයේ බරපතලම මූල්‍ය අර්බුදය පිටිපසක් සිටිනවා කියන එක පිළිබඳව ගැටලුවක් නැහැ. ඒ පිළිබඳව බොරු කියලා වැඩකුත් නැහැ.
For more latest news, subscribe to FTTV.